1. Garrett's security blankets. Give Dallas Cowboys coach Jason Garrett this much in his contributions to the final 53-man roster build, and contrary to what puppeteer people outside the star continue to think, the head coach around here has a major voice in such matters. He has either endured or even signed off on the goodbyes issued to this sort of players coaches always love because of the security they provide. Security blankets, really? 2. Dan Bailey is just the latest case. The reasons for his failure to make the team on Saturday's cut-down day? I've read some wild theories and I've read some simplistic ones. Brett Maher hit a 57-yarder, but Dan Bailey can only hit a 56-yarder, so it must be that 1 yard marks the shallowest version of simplistic. In my column here, I break down all the thinking that went into a decision that literally came down to the final 6 minutes before the 3 p.m. deadline to turn the list into the NFL. Now, consider the whole here. And consider the guts it takes to say goodbye to Bailey, at just 30, already one of the finest kickers in NFL history. If in 2018 Dan Bailey misses an important game-winning kick, who will get the blame? Not Garrett. We'll all assume that he and the rest of the staff that chose him over Brett Maher back on Sept. 1 made not only the easy and obvious choice, but made no choice at all. We'd have assumed, known, that Maher wasn't a contender for a roster spot. So a Bailey failure would have been all on Bailey, as it has during his 3 years of decline. Bailey's single-season percentages have dropped from .938 to .844 to .750 over the last 3 campaigns, but now, if Brett Maher misses such a kick, you know who will get kicked around for it? Jason Garrett. Which is why it took balls for him and the other decision-makers to plow forward in this unforeseen direction. 3. In the last 4.5 months, the Cowboys have said goodbye to their all-time leader in receptions, Jason Witten, their all-time leader in touchdown catches, Dez Bryant, and all-time leader in made field goals, Dan Bailey. Those 3 moves were all executed with a combination of reluctance and guts. Jerry Jones pretty much begged Witten to stay for another year, and Garrett was brought in as the closer, to attempt the same, but the future Hall of Fame tight end realized that a primo job being offered him at ESPN might not exist a year from now, so away he went. Regarding Bryant, I prefer to label it indecision, as the organization took 100 unnecessary days to decide before cutting the receiver loose on April 13. But however you wish to perceive, I know for a fact that Garrett was the last guy to, with some reluctance, sign off on it. Ironic, of course, given Dez's distaste for the Garrett guys around here, but true nevertheless. 4 more logs on the fire. We might as well toss 3 more names onto this pile. In recent years they've said goodbye, to their all-time sack leader, DeMarcus Ware, the defending NFL rushing champ, DeMarco Murray, and their iconic quarterback, Tony Romo. Again, think this through, from the perspective of just Garrett, who could worry far more about his own hot-seated job security than the puzzle piecing of the salary cap. You think it wouldn't have been easier to keep Ware and not worry about his declining health? To keep Murray and not worry about the backlash? To keep Romo playing ahead of Dak Prescott, when doing so would have been safe, might have been wise, and in any event severely damaged the close friendship between Romo and the coach. And now we have those fateful final minutes regarding Dan Bailey and Garrett and staff avoiding the easier path, the CYA path, to go with the infinitely less proven Maher. 5. Don't the Cowboys want to win? If so, why are they making all of these stupid moves? This refrain is the height of Cowboys Nation ignorance, and an embarrassment. All the way up to Jerry Jones, who, a mug of Johnny Walker Blue, and apparently can't figure out that he doesn't need to choose between his Hall of Fame membership and winning Super Bowls because he has, and can again, own both. The brain trust here is juggling the business of football. For the Joneses, that includes revenue and real estate and restaurants, yes, but even for personnel boss Will McClay and Garrett and their staffs, there is still business, the balancing of talent, promise, character, chemistry, leadership, health, salary, all of it. Remember that the idiotic moves around here are being engineered by the same idiots who engineer the smart moves, more specifically, most the same people who just chose Brett Maher over Dan Bailey did something similar a few years ago, when young vet draftee David Buehler was dumped from the roster in favor of some undrafted kid from Oklahoma State named Dan Bailey. The same idiots who chose Bailey then are choosing Maher now. 6. There are about to be more moves for you not to like. I think the receiver shuffle is not done. Noah Brown qualifies for IR. Stash him. I think Deonte Thompson, a vested vet, is a favorite of position coach Sanjay Lal. Again, coaches do love those security blankets, and is coming back to be the 6th receiver. I think Lance Lenoir must be wondering what in the hell is the purpose of doing almost every single thing right every single day of training camp if it's all going to be ignored on cut-down day. Oh, and Bryce Butler got cut in Arizona, and I guess some media people who are friendly with Bryce want him brought back to Dallas. Unfortunately, Butler's membership on Skip Bayless' team is the only truly notable thing he did during his Dallas tenure. No thanks. 6. There is, under consideration, about to be a move for you to love. How awesome would it be if, somehow, someway, Travis Frederick's health situation has improved enough to allow Dallas to consider not shuffling him to IR, but to instead keep him on 53? I know, maybe it's just a positive thinking idea after watching Frederick do some sideline stuff at practice last week at the Ford Center and after watching him engage in his Zach Martin-related pre-game ritual in Houston, but I'm thinking about it, and I bet the Cowboys are, too. 7. Speaking of Zach Martin, I made fun of him last week for his imperfections as a shotgun snapper. Obviously, with Trav being out, I'm the emergency guy if anything were to happen. Martin told me, conceding of his practice snaps, they weren't great, but now I feel terrible, like I've advanced jinxed him, because as this roster is presently constructed, the all-pro guard really is the backup center. If Joe Looney goes down in a game, Martin slides over. And hopefully all hell doesn't break loose. Jerry Jones is on record as saying that trade pickup Parker Ahinger from the Chiefs can play all 5 positions, including center. That's great, but I don't think it's accurate. I'm told he's a guard tackle. So, stay ready, Zach. 8. I saw somebody suggest that Dallas kept a lot of linebackers on the 53-man because linebackers are an important part of today's game, or some such. But a simple reason the Cowboys have on this roster right now, besides the fact that it seems like a pretty good idea to have the established Sean Lee and the emerging Jalen Smith around, is because the personnel department loves, and therefore fought for, Chris Covington. Covington, the 6th-round rookie, was your wild card here, the reason you went thin elsewhere. 9. As I write this, Dallas is still trying to make moves. Thompson, Brown and maybe Frederick? Yes, but more than that. Maybe the Cowboys bring back one of the corners they just cut, or maybe there is a trade to be made there. Thomas. It seems the Seahawks are behind the gossip that has ideas floating about in the atmosphere. They got Adam Schefter to actually write that they aren't giving him away. A fool's errand there, for which team, exactly, is offering a giveaway for an all-pro player. So, I don't know about headline-grabbing moves. I just know that Dallas roster, at this moment, is prepping to play at Carolina in Week 1 with one healthy, established safety on the entire roster. 10. Some folks want it both ways with Rico Gathers. You wanted him to make the team because of his promise, and he did, for now, and you wanted him to get cut because of his arrest, and he didn't, for now. Our exclusive story of Gathers' marijuana thing is here. Amid your own personal mental confusion, do yourself a favor. All cheap jokes aside, the folks trying to stir up controversy by noting that Bailey got the boot while Rico, and Randy Gregory and David Irving and whomever, are getting gold-plated invitations to the star are guilty of something called a false equivalence. The Cowboys are, like 31 other franchises, trying to build a winning team. They are doing it via every path possible. They would love to be doing it with 53 right kind of guys, but not in New England or Pittsburgh or Miami or Dallas. Is any franchise completely able to do that? So they do their best. They give second chances to some guys, while they give other guys no chance at all. They employ some jackasses who they hope will either mature and change or keep a lid on their jackassery until they can be replaced. They do it the way all sports teams do it: 7-footers getting more chances in basketball, lefty pitchers getting more chances in baseball, 4.2 sprinters getting more chances in track. Your company does the same thing, or haven't you noticed the busy salesman who is allowed to stumble in late to work every day because he happens to top your firm in revenue? Dan Bailey has nothing directly to do with Rico Gathers. Don't be gullible enough to think that way. The Cowboys made their moves, and will continue to do so, while clinging to some security blankets, and by boldly letting go of others.